Hello, friends, and welcome to Fire Emblem Discussion. Today we're going to be talking about the Fire Emblem trading card game, Fire Emblem Cipher, but I couldn't do it alone, so I brought a couple experts on the channel to help me out today. Today we're joined by Penta
Hello.
and BSC.
Hello, everyone.
Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and let people know why they should care about what you have to say about this?
Okay. I'm Penta or the Cipher. I'm the co-creator of Cipherfaire along with my partner Foodies. We make animated videos and tutorials that are dedicated to Fire Emblem Cipher.
And those videos
I,
are legitimately, they're so fun to watch. They're so good.
oh,
Go check out Cipherfaire. The link will be in the description. Oh, they're really fun. They're really fun.
They are really good.
Thank you.
And I'm Brave Saint Cipher, or BSC. Most of my videos center around commentary of tournament matches within our community, as well as playing decks I find on Twitter. I play them on stream for other people to see.
All right, where can they find you, BSC? Are you on Twitter? On Twitch and on YouTube, or do you prefer one or the other to share?
Generally, I'm on YouTube. I just started doing unboxing of sets on Twitch as well, but you can find me on YouTube at Brave Saint Cipher.
All right, check it out. Link in the description. Check these guys out. They do great work, especially for the Fire Emblem Cipher community. Something that has been growing, right? But it needs to. I kind of just want to shed some light on it because to me it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Cipher is. I wish it would come to America, but for now we have amazing people in the Fire Emblem community that are translating cards and making it playable for us here and around the world that don't speak Japanese, and it's amazing. But let's just get into the conversation today. For those who may not know, what is Fire Emblem Cipher exactly?
All right. Fire Emblem Cipher is a trading card game that was released by Intelligent Systems around 4 years ago, and they cover all the games from the mainline series. There are 18 sets currently. Each cover two different entries from the main series, and they pull characters from those titles.
And the first series covered Arcanea, but all the major continents are represented throughout the individual sets. Everything from Valentia, Jugdrawl, Ilebe, Magvel, Tellius, Elise, Hoshido, Nor, Zenith, and the latest entry, Fodlan, in Fire Emblem Three Houses in set 18 of the game. Now, in set 19 is coming out later this year in December, which will also be representing Fodland, as well as Jugdrawl in Genealogy and Thracia. Now, simply, the best way to explain the game in a simple manner would just be two players. They play with 50 card decks at least, and they just choose one character from their deck who represents their lord or main character, and they use their respective armies to defeat the enemy lord. First player to defeat their opponent's lord wins the game.
So, if for those who have never played Cipher, maybe are familiar with other trading card games, how would you relate it, or how would you compare it to other popular trading card games?
Well, I think if I had to compare it to one, it combines elements definitely of Cardfight Vanguard. There are a lot of similar elements there, and there are a few elements similar to Pokemon as well. For anyone who has played Pokemon, the prize system has some similarities to a mechanic in Cipher called orbs, but instead of drawing a prize card when you defeat the opponent's Lord or active Pokemon, instead your opponent draws a card. So there's kind of like a rubber band or a catch-up mechanic in Cipher that other card games don't have. So even when you might be losing in the beginning, there's a way to catch up later in the end.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a really neat, and it also gives you a way to kind of control advantage with your opponent, because maybe you don't want to give them cards, so you might not attack them and save some fuel for later in the game. So there's a lot of strategy at play in it. So you have your lord, or like I said, it's kind of like Vanguard. You have your lord or Vanguard that leads your army. And people who are familiar with Vanguard will know like the damage and drive triggers, and Cipher uses support skills that are very similar to that. But players of any card game really will be able to easily slide into Cipher and pick it up. It's intuitive, engaging.
I should mention that Cipher does have like a resource mechanic called bonds.
And to my understanding, bonds function similarly to like mana in Magic, right?
Yes, exactly. That's probably like a plus for most people because people don't because it does restrict the amount of things you can play in a turn, unlike a game like Yu-Gi-Oh, where you can just kind of play like all these cards in a turn.
One benefit that Cipher has is that all the cards in the game, again, like Vanguard, they're all characters. There's no like magic cards, there's no spell cards, or like in Shadowverse, for example, there's no amulets or whatever. Every card you play in the game is its own character, and even cards that go into the bond area and act as your mana, so to speak. Some of those cards, especially yellow, the Genealogy and Thracia faction, they especially take advantage of cards when they're in the bond area and have skills that only trigger when in the bond area.
Oh wow, that's really cool actually. So it's a deeper layer to your regular mana type game that you're used to. That's actually way cool. Like honestly, Fire Emblem Cipher is way deeper than you'd probably like notice upon first looking at it. And I think the biggest drive for me to like want to learn how to play it is the fact that every card is a unique character. You know?
Yeah.
So
I should mention that like each color kind of does its own thing as well. You have currently how many colors? I think it's 7.
We're at 9, I believe.
Oh, you have you have red, you have purple, you have green, you have black and white, you have colorless, you have yellow.
You have brown with 3 houses that just came out.
Yeah, brown.
And colorless, which represents the mobile game Fire Emblem Heroes characters.
So as far as like representation in the series, that's something that a lot of people have trouble with in Fire Emblem Heroes, is the fact that there's a lot of games that are really underrepresented. There's not very many characters from like Tellius or from like Binding Blade and other games. How is that in Fire Emblem Cipher? Like, are you going to be able to find your favorite character and make a deck with them as your lord if you really want to? Or is it pretty restricted at this point?
You should be able to find most characters in the game at this point because we're like 3 years into the game. Well, not 3 years, we're 4 years into the game now. And so, I mean, they've generally covered almost every character from each series.
In the entire library, there's probably almost 2,000 cards now. And with many sets, there's been a lot of additions from each series in the main entry. So there are several characters, and almost any character in Fire Emblem that has a Cipher card printed for it can be a main character, can be your lord. And the game is inclusive enough to allow you to play almost anything you want.
I mean, you could play anything you want, but it won't necessarily be good, you know?
Right.
I mean, you could play something, but it might not be great.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a cool aspect to me, and the art on the cards is beautiful. If you haven't looked at the Fire Emblem Cipher, just go look at the cards to see the art. Oh, it's so fun to see all this new artwork for all these characters. It's so good.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so good.
That's probably the main gateway that people get into the game, enjoying looking at the cards and seeing, oh, I wonder what that's from. And then that's how a lot of people get into it. Yeah,
that's how I like got interested. I was honestly like making videos, and I was like, oh man, I need some art of like freaking Zelgius or something, or the Black Knight. So I look it up and I'm like, oh, this is dope art. What's this from? And can I use it? And I was like, all right, Cipher.
Yeah.
There's so much good art.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, people don't even know that it's from Cipher. They just think it's like fan art or something, which is kind of like sad, I guess.
And one thing I really appreciate with the art is that they take subtle touches from the games that people might not realize and put them in. Like one example I always turn to is Quan from Genealogy of the Holy War. One of his cards has him holding his spear Gabolg in the air, and you see light shining off it, but beneath him you see the shadow of a wyvern flying over him, and you can see, and you look at that and you catch that and you realize, oh my goodness, this is the part where Quan and Ethlin battle Trevant.
Oh my gosh, it's like it's like in the desert and stuff. That's so dope.
Right. Yeah, it's right there in the desert, and even on the parallel card to that, Ethlin, you can see her riding her horse with Altena.
And she's holding Altena. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
And you can see wyverns in the background flying around them.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you do have a lot of cards that do kind of like tell a story, and then you can kind of relate it to the games that they come from.
That's amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so. If anything else, just go look at the art because that's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on a little bit. How would you suggest a beginner, someone who's never played Fire Emblem Cipher, get into this awesome seeming card game?
To put it simply, you should just join Discord. It's like the easiest way to kind of learn the game. You have people that are willing to actually teach you the game. If not, you have access to plenty of resources. You have the Fire Emblem Wiki, which has all the cards translated, and has like a bunch of guides as well. You can watch videos. You can watch my videos. You can watch BSC's videos. And
So we talked about it before. A lot the cards are in Japanese currently. They haven't released them in the West yet, but a lot of beginners often feel intimidated by the Japanese text on the cards and just the sheer number of the cards in the game already. But throughout the Discord and through Serenus Forest and on the application we actually use, Lackey CCG, to play the game, every single card is translated, and there are people there who know and how to teach people how to play the game. And I know it's a big meme in the Fire Emblem community that the people who hate Fire Emblem the most are Fire Emblem fans, but the people who like are in the Cipher community, like they genuinely love the game and are willing to teach new people how to get into it and just join this game that like we've all come to love.
Yeah. So if you want to learn how to play, so go to the Discord. It sounds like. But
I should mention.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I should mention that we also have like a Fire Emblem Cipher app for the phones, and that has where you can play Cipher and also has access to all the cards translated.
And
that'll help you.
Is that Android or is it on only Android?
Only Android at the moment.
Oh, blast.
Only Android at the moment, but it has all the same things that Lackey does. It has all the cards translated, and you can play other people on Android only. It doesn't cross-play at the moment.
And the cool thing about it is that app was designed by one of the guys in our own Discord. So,
wow, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. You guys, sounds like there's quite the community of people here for Fire Emblem Cipher.
Yes.
I think I always love seeing these I don't know, I guess kind of smaller communities that have so much passion and put in so much work to make this series work for them. It's amazing. Like, you guys doing great work. I really appreciate it. I want to get into it personally. Mm-hmm. I've had like plans to like put videos on my channel for it, but I don't know. It is a little it's a little daunting, right? To get started.
Right. It can be like any card game. It's always daunting to learn a new card game because you don't want to be bad at it right away.
Yeah. And I feel bad asking someone to like play with me because they'd have to teach me they'd have to teach me a lot of stuff. So I don't know. It's a lot to take in.
I mean, we have people that are willing to kind of walk you through the whole thing. I mean, you should give it a try.
Just give it a try. So you heard it here first. Give Fire Emblem Cipher a try.
We also had like Mangs come in the Fire Emblem Cipher community, and then we gave him a tutorial game as well. And like he has his own video on it if people also like want to see that to possibly learn the game.
And him and Mecha played.
Yeah, him and Mecha played.
Yeah, I think I watched that. Yeah, interesting. So for those of you out there who aren't sold yet, our two guests here are going to give you their 30-second pitch why you, listener, should play Fire Emblem Cipher. Penta, why don't you start us off?
All right. To put it bluntly, if you like Fire Emblem, you should support Cipher. There's a lot going for the game. It has great art.
It just has enjoyable gameplay too, because one thing Cipher does, like all the content is pulled from the actual games, but Cipher also gives you the what ifs. Like you have cards around what if Crom fell to Grima and became a risen king.
What?
And yes. And it also gives you what if Ike fell to Laren's medallion and became a rampaging nightmare. Whoa. And Cipher gives you some of those dark sides that the games never really were able to explore.
That's awesome. So
it's great.
Fire Emblem Cipher is the Fire Emblem fans card game. You know what I mean? There's so much love and attention put into it. Even if you watch the Cipher streams, those guys that I don't know, they just seem happy. I don't know. So cool. All right, well, thanks for coming on, guys. I really appreciate it. Again, go check out Cipherfaire on YouTube and go check out Brave Saint Cipher's channel as well. Links will be in the description. These two are awesome, and there's plenty of other people doing some great work in the community for this. So thank you guys for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it. I mean, you just watch like a 10-minute-ish video about Fire Emblem Cipher. You probably kind of enjoy the content here. Make sure to subscribe and check out the Patreon if you haven't. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can get over there. So, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.